Today I'll be talking about tissue processing. So first of all, we need to know what is tissue processing in histopathology. Tissue processing is a serial procedure that's done in order to make the tissue hard, so that it can be sectioned under microscope under microtomy. Okay. So first of all, in order to make the tissue hard, we are supposed to receive the tissue in the formalin, so that the tissue can be preserved. The preserved tissue will be in formalin, so that it can preserve the bacteria from putrefaction and autolysis of the tissue, so that the tissue can be more preserved and not damaged. So after completing of that procedure of the formalin preservation, the tissue will be transferred into 70%. But if the tissue is delicate, we can start with 50% alcohol. We can use like ethanol. Okay. So if the tissue is delicate, we are going to start with 50% alcohol. If not delicate tissue, we are supposed to start from 70%, then 80%, then 95%, then absolute, again absolute. This procedure is done for dehydration. Dehydration is the procedure of removing water in the tissue. Water in the tissue will be removed because when we are going to the next step of the embedding and the next step of impregnation, the impregnation requires in the tissue inside there are special holes. Those holes, they carry water inside. So we need to remove those water in order to make the tissue, in order to make the holes empty, no water inside. So for that reason we are doing dehydration. After the dehydration, we are going to do the clearing. Clearing is done in order to make the tissue transparent and in order to make the tissue clear. So this one is using xylene number 1 and xylene 2. There are two changes. After this one is done, we are going to do the impregnation. Impregnation is done in the molten paraffin wax. We are going to have two changes also. There is molten paraffin wax number 1 and molten paraffin wax number 2. This procedure is done in order to fill the hole inside the tissue, so that the tissue can be hard. This molten paraffin wax, when it enters inside the tissue holes, the holes will become filled with the molten paraffin wax. And after completing the impregnation procedure, the molten paraffin wax will solidify in order to make the tissue hard. So after that procedure, the tissue will be, from the impregnation, we are going to do the embedding procedure. Embedding procedure is done with the help of LPCs. LPCs, we are going to put the molten paraffin wax inside, and then we are going to orient the tissue that we did in all these procedures, so that the tissue can become hard. So first of all, we put molten paraffin wax just a little on this, and then we are going to put the tissue inside in order to make the proper block like this. So the tissue will be oriented clearly and then filled with the molten paraffin wax until the top side. So at the end, the tissue will look like this. The tissue will look like this, which comes from here. The tissue will look like this. So after solidification, we are going to remove this one, and the tissue will be attached in this chunk. Okay. This sample holder is called chuck. So this one will be attached in this one. This one must be hot. After becoming hot, we are going to attach in this one, so that it become like this. Okay. So after completing this procedure, we are going to put that sample holder here, like this, in order to make the thin section that can help the specimen to be examined under microscopy. So we are going to use microtomy. Microtomy procedure from this microscope is going to provide thin section that can help to get thin section, so that we can do the proper staining and we can examine under microscope in order to get the clear results. That's all. Thank you.